The relationship between the United States and China, the world's two largest economies, has long been characterized by a complex interplay of cooperation and competition. Trade, a cornerstone of this relationship, has frequently been a flashpoint, particularly during Donald Trump's presidency. Since assuming office for his second term in January 2025, Trump has reignited a trade war with China, imposing unprecedented tariffs and pushing for new trade deals. This examines the current state of U.S.-China relations in the context of Trump's latest trade initiatives, exploring their origins, developments, and implications for both nations and the global economy. U.S.-China trade relations have been contentious since China's entry into the World Trade Organization in 2001, which spurred a surge in bilateral trade, but also deepened U.S. trade deficits. During his first term, 2017 to 2021, Trump launched a trade war, imposing tariffs on Chinese goods to address perceived unfair practices, including intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers. The 2020 Phase 1 trade deal, signed with Chinese Vice Premier Liu He, aimed to de-escalate tensions, requiring China to purchase an additional $200 billion in U.S. goods. However, China fell short of these targets, achieving only 58% of the agreed exports, a failure attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic and unrealistic goals. These early confrontations set the stage for Trump's current approach, which builds on his America First philosophy. Trump has consistently argued that China's trade practices harm U.S. manufacturing and contribute to job losses, a view supported by research highlighting the China shock, the economic disruption caused by China's rapid integration into global markets. His rhetoric and policies reflect a belief that tariffs are a powerful tool to restore U.S. economic dominance and force concessions from Beijing. Since January, Trump has intensified trade measures against China, raising tariffs on Chinese imports to 145%, including a 125% reciprocal tariff, a 20% levy tied to the fentanyl crisis, and additional Section 301 tariffs targeting specific goods. China retaliated with 125% tariffs on U.S. exports, alongside non-tariff measures such as bureaucratic obstacles to U.S. agricultural and energy imports and restrictions on Boeing aircraft deliveries. These tit-for-tat actions have effectively curtailed trade between the two nations, raising concerns about supply chain disruptions and global economic instability. Despite the escalation, both sides have shown tentative signs of seeking de-escalation. In May, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer met with Chinese Vice Premier entity Yu Lifeng in Geneva, marking the first high-level trade talks since the latest tariff hikes. Trump described these meetings as very good and conducted in a friendly but constructive manner. Though no immediate breakthroughs were reported, China's willingness to engage, coupled with reports of exemptions for certain U.S. goods, e.g. pharmaceuticals and microchips, from its 125% tariffs, suggests a pragmatic approach to mitigate economic damage. Trump's strategy appears twofold: isolate China by securing trade deals with other nations and pressure Beijing into negotiations. The administration has paused reciprocal tariffs on over 60 countries, encouraging them to negotiate bilateral agreements with the U.S. while maintaining high tariffs on China. This approach aims to leverage global trade dynamics to compel China to make concessions, such as increased purchases of U.S. goods or stricter controls on fentanyl precursors. However, China has countered by strengthening ties with Southeast Asia and Europe, signing cooperation agreements with countries like Vietnam and warning against nations aligning with the U.S. at Beijing's expense.